Title 42 is going to expire this coming Thursday. And friends, we'll get into this for those of you who may not know what Title 42 is. But listen, when that expires, we are going to have a surge, even more than what we've already experienced, of migrants coming across the border, tens and tens and tens of thousands. In fact, there are already 3 Texas cities that have declared a state of emergency, just bracing for the continued immigration surge that is already begun under the Biden administration. But given the absolute mismanagement of this administration's chaotic southern border policy, what can we expect later this week? Well, joining me now to discuss this and more is U.S. Representative Randy Weber. He serves on the Committee on Energy and Commerce and the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. He represents the 14th Congressional District of Texas. Congressman Weber, welcome to Washington Watch. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to be here. Thanks, Jody. We appreciate what y'all do.
Well, listen, likewise, we're all in this thing together. Look, you and I, we've all seen it. There's been a massive surge and chaos, quite frankly, as to what's happened across the border since the Biden administration took over. But you're looking at cities like El Paso, absolutely overwhelmed by the chaos. And now Title 42 is about to expire. What are you expecting to take place beginning this Friday?
Well, as you well know, 10,000 illegals are projected to enter a day. Every day, once they cancel Title 42 or end Title 42. And for those who may not know, I was in the State House. I was on the Public Education Committee. And Texas has, now it has about 5.5 million students, and it has about 1,100 school districts. If you did the math simple, Jody, if you said it has 5 million students and 1,000 school districts, the average school district is 5,000 K through 12 kids. When you've got 10,000 a day, that's 70,000 a week. And that is basically almost 7 complete school districts. If you just took, well, if you took a fourth of that, actually, let's just say it was 15,000. It's 3 complete school districts a week multiplied times 4. It is 12 complete school districts a month. Somebody has to pay to educate, not to mention drugs, not to mention the terrorists that have come across 80 captured that we know about, all the fentanyl. I mean, you can't take this stuff, you can't make this stuff up. And the Biden administration is totally, solely responsible for this.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And of course, Title 42 is for health reasons with COVID and all that kind of stuff, gave us some capacity to deal with this and not to allow some of these people to come into our country. I played this a little bit earlier. I want to play this clip again and get your reaction to it. This is Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas claiming that they're all prepared. Here's what he had to say.
We've been preparing for this for quite some time. We tried to end Title 42 repeatedly, and we're stopped from doing so by the courts. So we are prepared.
We're prepared. I mean, they haven't been prepared the entire time they've been in power here. How do you respond to this, Congressman?
Well, Jody, now give this guy a break. They don't need to be prepared because they have operational control. Don't you know? He said.
Yeah, he did say that too.
I'm like, you can't. I don't know what this guy's drinking. He's drinking the Kool-Aid from the far left is what he's drinking. And of course, as you know, there's a move to impeach him because he's not protecting America. He's not protecting our borders. I don't know how they can say these things with a straight face. You know, H.R. 2, we would love to send some troops down. We've got a bill that would give more money to the Border Patrol. And now you're hearing Biden, by the way, talk about sending, 1,400 troops down there. If you think back with me, Jody, Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, when Trump sent troops down there, oh, man, she started crying the blues. And they're going to send a meager 1,400 troops down there to stop 10,000 a day coming across. That they're just, they're off. I can't tell you how crazy they are if they think we got operations.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, and as you talk about them sending 1,400 troops, 1,500, whatever it may be, we're actually seeing in Texas, Governor Abbott taking steps to get prepared for the coming surge. How are your thoughts on how the governor's doing?
Well, he's doing great. You know, he's sending people, he's sending immigrants to other cities, and you're actually seeing mayors from other cities saying, "Stop the flow, stop the flow. We can't take this anymore." And I'm like, really? So New York City, just name the cities, Washington D.C., whoever, they're getting. I don't know. Let's say they got 5 bus loads, and they got 500 or 1,000 illegals. Texas, we're coming across the southern border. And Texas has almost 2/3 of the border with in the United States with Mexico, as you know, and we're getting thousands, tens of thousands a day projected, and they're worried about 500 here, 500 there. They're learning what it is to be a border city. Isn't it funny, Jody? These cities call themselves a sanctuary city, but when they get illegals showing up in their city, we find out
That's right. That's exactly right. And it's a totally different picture when it starts knocking close to their door. All right, you and I both, we've been to the border. You've been to the border many times. I've been there to every sector myself. I've seen it firsthand. How would you describe, did we get into this mess? How did the Biden administration let things get so out of control?
he hung out the open for business from day one. He literally hung out the open for business sign from day one. We don't have Operation Control the Border. If they'd have stuck with Trump's policies, all President Biden, really, quite frankly, if you look back on it, all President Biden had to do about border control was basically zero for the time being. Leave President Trump's policies intact. Make them stay across the border if they want to apply for asylum. And as you know, asylum is supposed to be for when you, either one, you're persecuted by your government, you're persecuted for your race or religion, or you're persecuted for belonging to an ethnic group. You can ask for asylum in the United States. Make those embassies in those countries, where it's El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, whoever it is, and even more, Venezuela, make them do the research on whether they're being persecuted, because they know those areas down there. We don't know those areas down there. And all Biden had to do was leave it alone, and we would have been in a lot better shape.
Congressman Randy Weber, thank you so much for joining us on Washington Watch. Thank you for your great leadership in Congress.
Thank you, Jody. Appreciate y'all.